Hello ladies and gentlemen, Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Maketoys Thunder Manus with Divine Dress. Now this set is the same as Thunder Erebus, except with this new God Bomber type set that attaches to the back of the vehicle mode. The vehicle mode in general is exactly the same as Thunder Erebus, as I said. In fact, it is the exact same figure set, only in Optimus Prime colors. Now this whole set is a test sample that I received from Maketoys through the Chosen Prime. I'm not keeping this set. This set is going to actually be returned to Maketoys after this review. But I wanted to get this review done for you folks so you could see what to expect when this figure comes out in January of 2018. If you've already seen my Thunder Erebus review, you know that I really like this figure. It is an excellent figure, and the quality remains the same in this set, just in the Optimus Prime colors. We'll talk more about the Divine Dress set and trailer in a little bit, but first let's go ahead and take a look at Thunder Manus proper. But before we take a look at Thunder Manus, one quick note about how the Divine Dress connects to the trailer. There are little tab holes on the backs of the panels here at the back of the trailer, or back of the original trailer, and they just peg in. I've done a horrible job of pegging them in here, as you can see, but they do peg in and stay in pretty well. There's no real problems once they're pegged in. Just getting it pegged in is a little bit tricky sometimes. Taking a quick look at Erebus and Manus in the cab modes, you can see that they are the exact same molding, right down to the screws. The only difference being color, obviously. They even have the same little engine dudes. So Manus's engine dude is more akin to Leader 1 from Transformers Armada. That super dark, super gnarly, very evil engine dude. And then we have Haikyuu, the little engine dude. Haikyuu is not the official name that Maketoys is using, but that is the name that I am going with for right now. The two figures are very cool, very nicely painted. I would try to get closer, but my camera isn't zooming in on these guys. They're just too small. Now, for a size comparison, we are going to put them next to a Titans Returns Titan Master. If I could get the Titan Master to actually stand up. As you can see, they are about the same size as a Titans Returns Titan Master. Maybe a smidge shorter. If you have already watched my Thunder Erebus review, you have already seen this transformation of Manus/Erebus into robot mode. It's the same exact transformation, but it is entirely pleasant and fun to do. It's pretty darn easy, and I would really like to see a more or slightly more complicated version of this transformation scaled up into a deluxe or Voyager class transformation, or class figure, I should say. I like this figure quite a bit. I like this mold quite a bit, I should say. Transformation is not too difficult. Transforming the trailer is significantly harder than transforming this little dude into robot mode. There aren't really any major tricks to speak of. The only thing you have to be wary of is just make sure to pull the head all the way out. Fully transformed into robot mode, the figure looks very good. All the paint is excellent, and the overall tooling of the figure is great. The only thing that I find lacking is the eyes, the head sculpt. This little dude needs some better eyes, more colorful eyes that really pop. I would prefer maybe some stickers over the eyes as opposed to what we have here. The head is just too bland. There's nothing breaking up the blue. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I just think it could use a little bit more color. Now, when we look at Erebus, you can see that his eyes are the bright blue, but on the black and the gray mask, it works a lot better, as opposed to Manus, whose head is all blue and the face mask is blue. There's nothing breaking up the color there, and that might just be because this is a sample. I'm wondering if the full release figure is going to have different paint on the head there. Overall, it's a perfectly fine figure. The lack of paint and definition in the head sculpt, though, because of the uniformity of the paint scheme, just drives me batty. That's just a personal thing. Possessing 20 points of articulation, Manus is incredibly posable. This little dude can get some really nice dynamic poses going. I have a karate kick pose, a split pose, and some other poses here to show you. I really am impressed with the way Maketoys has made this little dude posable. It's just really cool. Manus and Erebus both scale perfectly to Titans Returns Legends class figures, and probably other Legends class figures as we move forward into Power of the Primes. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the transformation of the cab and trailer into Thunder Manus. Transformation back into cab mode is pretty simple. Put the feet together, put the legs together, fold the feet down, fold the arms up and twist them into place. Pull the backpack out and twist that 180 degrees. Push the head down into the back, which is actually a little bit harder than you might think. Fold the shoulders forward. Fold the arms in. Connect the parts on the outer forearms together. Flip them around over to the top of the cab and peg them into place. Flip the cab front up and peg that into place. Then flip the legs out back towards the back of the cab. Leave the wheel well sections where they are on the outside. Take the feet and actually turn them around. I really should have not transformed them back in the first place. And then fold them up into the shins. And then flip the entire leg section up. And these little tiny tabs in between the heels and the front of the toes will peg into the tabs that are sticking out of the back of the cab. And that's it. That's all we have to do to transform the cab for the combined mode. Next, onto the trailer. Now, before we get into the transformation of the trailer, some notes. One, this version of the figure has 2 connectors for the cab on either bottom of the forearms. The cab is painted in Power Master Optimus Prime colors. And unfortunately, my version, or this version of the figure, remember, this is a test version of the figure, did not come with extra guns, or the big guns that come with the figure that you can put on the top. We'll be using Erebus's large guns for the purpose of this review. So for transformation, first pop off the guns and put them off to the side. Take the panels on the side and flip them open. Come to the back of the cab, flip up and out the panels that fold over the rear, flip out the sides, and then fold the panels for the rear up and into place. And if you do it correctly, you won't break anything, which I didn't do it correctly. Thankfully, I didn't break anything. Flip up out of place, flip it down, flip it around, and then we can close those sections up like so. Come to the back of the front, flip out the sides, flip up the back section, and we want to slide that whole piece up, fold up the red panels, and then fold up the entire top panels. Everything pegs into place. And I keep folding things in the wrong direction. No, that was right. I just had things folded poorly. Yep, there we go. Like that. And then fold that middle section up and into place. Then we can collapse it down again. Oh, that is really, really tight. Like so. All right. Turn that top part 180 degrees. Come down to the feet. Flip these sections down, up, and over to form the feet. Split the rear section open, unpegging the toes. Flip this bit up and get everything lined up. And fold that out of the way. Come to the feet. With that transformation, I was being dumb because I was getting confused about what were the feet and what weren't the feet. We'll be dealing with these sections that are on the back of his legs in a little bit. Now, the feet are done. Now for the top, reach inside and pull forward the forearms. And that will allow us to flip out the shoulders, slide them forward, fold them down, snap them into place, come to the outside of the forearms, open them up, and then we can flip out the fists, which is actually a little bit on the difficult side because these pins are very tight. Lastly, reach inside, grab the head and the side bits, flip that whole section up, take the cab that we've already transformed, drop it into place, and snap it into that peg there, just above the crotch. Fold the head back down, and snap everything into place. And then the last thing is to add the shoulder cannons. Combined with this trailer Manus, now Thunder Manus looks very good, where Thunder Erebus looked menacing and just frankly evil. Thunder Manus looks really cool, very much like Power Master Optimus Prime, and I think worlds better than the Power Master version that we've gotten here in the States and even in Japan. The head sculpt is much better than the cab version, though I would like to see brighter blue eyes, as opposed to what we have here. This works fine, but again, the eyes are being lost in the coloring that is used for the head. It's still better than the little cab version, though. For one set of size comparisons, here are US Titans Returns Power Master Optimus Prime and Japanese Titans Returns or Transformers Legends Power Master Optimus Prime or Master Force Prime. As you can see, there are the Japanese feet and the USA feet. The feet are completely different. But as you can see, I think the Manus figure, or Thunder Manus figure, scales beautifully to both of them. And another comparison for you. This time we have Maketoys Striker Manus and MP10 Prime. As you can see, he fits somewhere in between the two. And one last size comparison. We have Titans Returns Optimus Prime, the Voyager class figure, and two other Maketoys figures, Howling Meteor and Galaxy Meteor. Virtually the same size as the two Meteor figures. And lastly, my favorite comparison, Thunder Erebus and Thunder Manus. I have to say, the two of these guys standing next to each other look amazing. I cannot get over how good these guys look just standing freaking next to each other. They are both awesome looking figures. Featuring 29 points of articulation, Thunder Manus is extremely posable. The poses I have here, and even the poses that you see will be seen on the box and even in the promotional materials, really don't do the figure justice. It is incredibly well balanced, incredibly strong joints, allow you to pull off some absolutely fantastic poses. This is an excellent figure in the posability department. On its own, Thunder Manus is an absolutely fantastic figure. But he's not alone. He has his own little dress-up unit. Let's take a look at it. Now let's take a look at the Divine suit. And yes, it's suit, not dress. I keep calling it dress for some reason. Don't know why. Oh well. So, this guy, it's just a trailer unit that splits into multiple pieces that combine to Thunder Manus. It's roughly a little bit shorter than a Legends class figure and is about the same height as, well, a Voyager class or Deluxe class figure. For comparison, here it is compared to the height of a Titans Return Voyager class figure. That's really the best comparisons that I could give you other than some vehicle modes. So here is a Deluxe Cup next to the Divine suit. It can drive on its own. I haven't figured out how to fold up the little trailer hitch there, but it can drive on its own. It's not that big compared to the trailer, but it's meant to be a little trailer. But it does look cool as a little trailer. I like it. I think it looks really neat. The only problem I have with it is it doesn't stay together that well in certain spots. Like these bits on the side that are the front wings have a tendency to pop off, and other bits have a tendency to pop off. Not a huge deal, but remember, this is also a sample. Overall, I like the look and the aesthetic of the thing. The missile section on the back is gigantic and ratcheted. Unfortunately, the missile does not pop off, which, oh well. I like it though. I think it looks cool. Now, as part of the transformation, let's go ahead and completely rip it apart. I mean, seriously, that's what we're going to do. Start off with it by taking these side wings, pulling them apart, lifting them up, and then pop the entire rear wing sections off the back of the figure. And we'll take this whole section and put it off to the side. And then we'll come onto the inside, come to the back of these, where these silver parts are, and unpeg them and pull them out. Then come to where these red bits are and unpeg them. And be careful because the red parts and the silver parts do have some sharp bits to them. Then we come to the front of the unit, this black piece in the front, pull that off. Then come to these blue units and they will just pop right off. When you pop those off, extra fists will pop off, and then you could fold the sides of the unit down, and then these sections in the back will pop off, and that's it. We have multiple pieces that we have disassembled from a trailer into components that go onto Thunder Manus. But there is a little bit of configuration we have to do to Thunder Manus before any of these things will fit. Okay, for Thunder Manus, the first things we're going to do is remove the cannons and then flip the fists back into the forearms. Now that's done. Okay then, on to the feet. This is where things get a little bit more complicated. So we're going to take those giant feet that we had in the beginning, turn them 180 degrees around, and then just plop them underneath the normal feet. So do that on both sides. And then we're going to start combining pieces onto the figure. Now the feet are the most complicated because they actually get a couple of different components. So these components and these thruster components all go to the bottom of the feet. And it's a little bit tricky. So for the thruster bits, they will actually peg into these little peg units. Peg units, yeah, these pegs back here, these will peg in like that. One major issue that I have with them is they have a tendency to unpeg very easily, or they just fall off on their own. It's really annoying, but you can mitigate it a little bit by just really pushing them in tightly. Then this section is supposed to peg into the back of the foot, and then it will peg in and become an extra heel. And just getting this lined up is a little bit tricky because you're supposed to put the foot on, the heel on first, and then put these back pieces on. But now that the feet are done and everything is pegged into place, we move to the front. And remember those silver pieces that I talked about earlier? Those silver pieces will actually wrap around the front of the upper legs, capping the upper legs off with nice silvery bits. And then these red pieces will peg into the upper shoulders where the cannons were. So these guys will then peg into this peg hole, and the tabs will peg into the little divot that's at the top of the shoulders. And this black piece will become the new crotch armor. Now that we have those pieces on, we're going to go ahead and get to the hands. As you see, we've closed the hands or flipped them back into the forearms. We can then attach the extender hands, which then drop into place. The forearm just drops into place and then snaps in right there at that peg. And then there's a divot at the top of the forearm. This peg right here will peg into that divot. And now that we have the new fists in place, we're going to move him out of the way and concentrate on the last piece. Now you might think that this last piece just drops on. Well, you're correct, but there is a little bit of configuration required. So what we want to do is take the little wings, point them straight down, and then rotate them around so that they are able to fold up behind the main red wings, like that. So we do that for both sides, which is a little bit tricky because things are pretty tight, actually. So we just want to get it to look like that. Then we open up the front, drop it down, snap it into place on the top of the sides of his head, and then drop this section into the front, and they will snap in to these nice openings right here on the sides of his chest. And lastly, we have the shell of the trailer here. So we'll fold the sides down, fold the trailer hitch underneath. Then there are peg holes right here and here. They're really clips. And then one hole, peg hole right there. They will peg in here, here, and here. Thunder Manus with the Divine Suit looks absolutely fantastic. I'm using the guns from Thunder Erebus there that he's holding. The shininess of the chrome, the blue, the red, the grays, all look wonderful. He is a little bit kludgy getting combined, but I can't argue with the results. They look absolutely wonderful together. It's like this figure was meant to be this way. Some quick Prime size comparisons now. We see that the Thunder Manus with Divine Suit is the exact same size as, almost the exact same size as MP10 Prime. It is a full head taller than Thunder Erebus and towers over Striker Manus and Titans Returns Optimus Prime. The figure's posability is slightly diminished in this mode, and it is a little bit more wobbly, but you can still pull off some very dynamic poses like what I have here. Specifically, the parts that are kind of in the way are the wings are get in the way of the shoulders, and the thruster bits that are on the back of the legs get in the way of moving the feet forwards and backwards. The pieces have a tendency to pop off. They do go back on pretty darn easy, but if there's too much pressure put on them, they will just pop right off again. It is something to consider when picking up this figure. I don't think you're going to try to get it in super duper dynamic poses, but you can pull off, but you could still pull off some nice dynamic poses with him. And for those wondering, the set works perfectly well for Thunder Erebus. I'm really hoping that later down the line, Maketoys makes an evil version of this set with more spikes and more evil in it. That'd be very cool. One last very awesome feature about this figure is at the back of the cannon. Wha-bam! That's right, this figure comes with his own giant freaking sword, which is freaking awesome. Now, in order to get him to hold it, you have to come down to the guard here, pull off the bottom of the guard, and then it will slide right into the grooves of the hand. And this sword is wieldable by both the combined form and the base Thunder Manus form, which is awesome. So we then get the guard back on, and he has his own giant freaking sword. And actually, the sword scales perfectly to the figure, pretty much, except for the part where I forgot to close the hands around the handle. Yeah, smart. I think this just adds another level of just freaking awesome to this guy, because now he feels kind of complete to me for some reason. I love the fact that he has the giant sword. I just love it. The cannon does get in the way when you pose the sword. I don't care. He has a giant freaking sword that is hidden inside his giant freaking cannon. How awesome is that? Overall, Striker Manus with the Divine Suit is fantastic. Definitely belongs in your collection. And if you can swing it this January when it's available, get it, please. This is an excellent set, especially if you missed Thunder Erebus, who is also fantastic. This test sample of Thunder Manus was provided to me through the Chosen Prime. It will be returned to Maketoys once this review is done. I am definitely going to pick up this set when it comes out, because, quite frankly, I absolutely love it. Yes, there are some minor issues with the combined mode in terms of posability, but the overall aesthetic of the set is just wonderful, and it's worlds better than the Titans Return version or the Transformers Legends version that we got earlier this year. In fact, I didn't like that set so much, I boxed it up, or I should say I boxed up the God Bomber set, and it's currently sitting in storage. That's why you didn't see a comparison between this and that terrible set. So gang, I hope you have enjoyed this video review. Head over to the Chosen Prime to put in a pre-order. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you loved it, give me a sub. And as always, I will catch you next time.